Hi guys, today I will be showing you how to install this Iron Age kill switch into a guitar. Today it's going to be this green Frankenstrut that I recently built up, and let me show you how to actually wire this thing. Step one is to drill a hole in your pickguard. They are usually about 5/8 of an inch or so. And then go ahead and mount the kill switch too. So you can see I already have the hole drilled and I have the kill switch mounted. I was looking at the diagram online, and you use the little colored dot that's on the back as your guide. That should be on your top right like it is here in this video. The green ones are just for the LED lights. The black ones are actually what's going to kill your signal. So these two here are going to both go to the ground. This will go to hot, the top here, and then this one's going to go over to the resistor and to the battery, 9-volt battery. I don't need this wire to be quite this long. If you don't want to cut it shorter, you don't have to, but I'm going to only cut it down to about 2 or 3 inches right there. Get our wire strippers out here. Let's go ahead and strip it about 3/16 of an inch. These two over on this side are both going to go to ground, so I'm going to cut those a little bit shorter. This pickguard in particular, it's copper shielded, and if you look here, this braid solders down to the shielding and then up to the pot casing. So in this specific guitar, I can ground it down to this shielding here. But if you don't have that, you're just going to need to put it on the back of a pot case. That's fine. Either one works. So go ahead and strip those two wires. We'll twist them together because they're both just going to be grounds. And before you go to solder it, there's a little technique called tinning. You want to tin the wires. What that means is you're going to just take your soldering iron that's already hot. You're going to take your solder, and this is going to make the wire solder down to its next, where we're going to solder it to, which will be this shielding here. It's going to make the transfer of heat very quick and very painless, very easy. This is a little trick. You basically just get a little bit of solder here on the soldering iron, like so. Let it heat up like that, and then put it on the bottom of the wires. Then you take your solder on the left hand, kind of dip it in there a little bit, and then touch the wire. You see it's absorbing into the strands of the wire now. And just like that, we have a nice tinned, let's zoom in on that a little bit. Look how nice that looks. It's super shiny. That's what you want. You want to be able to still see the strands of the wire a little bit. And then I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing down here on the pickguard. For this pickguard, it's a black pickguard. If you have a black pickguard and you're soldering to the back of a pickguard, same thing. Go real easy. You can melt through and then cause a little deformity on the other side of the pickguard if you leave the heat on there too long. So we're just going to leave it like that until it kind of flows like that. See, now it's nice and flowed. It looked like a bubble sitting on top at first, and as you leave the iron there, add a little more solder, and then it'll flow out, and the flow is what you want. So now we got the ground coming over to here. Just going to put this wire right on top. Let me move this other wire out of the way. So we're going to take our two wires right here. I'm going to lay the soldering iron so that there's as much surface area as possible across that bead of solder that's on the surface there. So if you watch, I'm going to drop this whole side down onto it, and it's going to liquefy real quick. We're going to put the wire in there, and then hold the wire there and pull the iron away. Hold it there for a second. It may be a little hot. You might have to use some electrical tape to hold it there. But you want it to sit in there and harden without blowing on it, without the wire moving. That's how you get cold solder joints. And that's going to be a very dull, gray looking solder joint instead of this nice, beautiful, shiny one we see here. So let's go ahead and do what I just said. Lay it down long ways. It flowed across. I see the wire is nice and in the pure liquid. Holding it there, and I just saw it kind of change color a little bit. It'll be pure liquid, and then you'll see it go to what it looks like now, which is a little less shiny than when it's a pure liquid solder. And that's when you want to let the wires go out of your fingers. That's when it's actually dry. I'm going to reattach my ground real quick. I had to move it because it was actually in the spot where my tone was going to go. So let's reattach that to the shield. Okay, so we got our two grounds connected now. Those are good. Gonna kind of scrunch the wires up right there so they're out of the way. Over here, out of the right-hand side, is going to be the resistor. So let's kind of twist these strands together. And we're going to add the extra switch down here where this tone goes. Okay, I didn't have anything there, so I had to cut out the shielding. This is a typical on-off switch here. This is the one I'll be using. Let's take this green wire that comes straight off next to the colored dot. We're going to put this in the middle position of this switch. And I'm going to use some liquid flux here. You can see that there. And then we're going to take the resistor and go ahead and solder that one on. Now this side of it is going to go over to the 9-volt battery clip. So I have this one here. I'm going to strip these two ends real quick. And let's tin both of these wires. And we're back to the resistor. So this red wire is going to go with this resistor. Need to grab another little piece of heat shrink. I got a little piece here that'll work. Slide that onto the red wire. Let's wrap it around the wire once again. Okay, a couple wraps like that should be good. I'll cut off the excess right now. If you have a real nice guitar, obviously you want to put something down under this. This is a Frankenstrat. You can see it's beat up. It's got sanded edges over here and scratches on purpose. So obviously a little bit of scratching and burning from working on it is going to only add to its character in this case. So let's go ahead and solder this connection here. Put a little bit of solder on the iron. Put that ball that's on the iron under and apply my solder to the other side. Got a little too much on there, so I'm going to go ahead and reflow it and walk a little bit off there. That's what we're left with. That's a nice solder joint. And we'll bring that heat shrink back up. Put a little bit over that resistor. Throw some heat. Another heat gun. Beautiful. Almost done. Now we have this top black wire. This is going to go out to the hot. So you can either wire that to the output jack or the other end of the wire that goes to the output jack, which would be this middle lug right here on the volume. Let's go ahead and re-angle you guys, and let's even zoom in a little bit. So you can see, in this case, I've got the wire coming through. You can see it poking through the solder. So I'll go ahead and I'll tin this tip again, and then I'm just gonna tag it right on the front. Okay, and then we have one last ground wire coming from this 9-volt battery clip. So for this one, we could just add it right to this, let's go ahead and add it right here where you guys are already looking. Add a little bit of solder down on this shielding. And just like that, the ground is connected. And that's it. This thing is completely wired up now. Let's flip it over. Now let's go ahead and try this. Got the 9-volt hooked up. The kill switch is off. And the kill switch is on. It's alive. So that's it. Nice and easy. There is also a way, which I'll link to down in the description, of how to wire up a kill switch. so that you have an output jack. You have to replace your output jack with a stereo jack. The difference between a stereo jack and a regular output jack is that a stereo jack has an extra wire terminal, so you can plug in a third wire. This is a stereo jack, so you can see 1, 2, 3 positions, and it's got the 2 out here and then the 1 down in the center that connect to the wire. So that can make it so that you have 2 grounds, and as the 2 grounds are connected by your cable plugging in, it'll automatically turn on your kill switch. Some people don't like to fiddle with their output jack, so they're cool with a switch like this. Or maybe you don't want your kill switch on every single time you're playing guitar because it's going to wear down your battery. So if that's the case, use the power, the on-off switch, but you could actually use both. If you want to use both, it's possible too. So check out the link in the description if you want to see how to wire it up with a stereo output jack. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Go check out my other videos, and please subscribe to the Guitar Guts YouTube channel. You can also visit guitarguts.com for all kinds of content. Please follow me on Instagram at guitarguts. And I have new videos up like this all the time, so keep checking back, give me that subscribe, and I'll see you guys soon. Have a great day.